Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. We got a two-game series between these Pittsburgh Pirates and New York Giants. And on April 29th, leading off for the Pittsburgh Pirates, playing shortstop Hornus Wagner, batting second, playing center field Paul Warner, batting third, playing right field Fred Clark, batting fifth, playing left field is Ralph Kiner. Batting fifth, playing second base is George Grantham. Batting sixth, playing third base Pod Trainer. Batting seventh, playing first base Gus Sir. Batting eighth, doing the catching Johnny Gooch. And on the mound, batting ninth, Ray KREMER for the Pirates. Now the hometown New York Giants. Leading off, playing second base Frankie Frisch. Batting second, playing third base Freddie Lindstrom. Batting third, playing first base Bill Terry. Batting fourth, playing center field Willie Mays. Batting fifth, playing left field Mel Ott. Batting sixth, playing right field Russ Youngs. Batting seventh, doing the catching Roger Bresnahan. Batting eighth, playing shortstop is Travis Jackson. And on the mound, batting ninth, AMOS RUSIE. And let's get down here to New York and get this game started. And leading off for the Pirates is Hornus Wagner. And Hornus Wagner's batting .316 on the year. He has no homers and 7 RBIs. And this is Amos' third appearance. He's 2-0 with a 1.69 ERA. And here's the pitch to Wagner. And that's going to be against a righty, a 29. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. Jackson's up with it. He fires over to first for out number 1. And Paul Warner's up now. And Paul's batting .324 on the year. No homers and 2 RBIs. And he gets a hold of this one off of Amos. See how far this ball's going to go. And that's going to be a double out in the right field. And Paul's down at second now with a 1-out double. And up to the plate steps Fred Clark. And Clark's batting .235 on the year. He's got 2 homers and 7 RBIs. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. And Jackson will look the runner back to second. Fire over to first for out number 2. So it's up to Ralph Kiner here to get Paul in here on this 1-out double. And Ralph's batting .346, 5 homers and 9 RBIs. And that's going to be a 40. And that's going to be a wow pitch. Let's see here. A 42 and a 1 should be fielding column 3. And it is. You see a wow pitch 0. No, that's a wow pitch. Runner's going to get down to third. Now the runner's 90 feet away for Ralph. Ralph deliver here. And he sure does. That ball is high. That ball is far. That ball is hit in the right field. Pulled left. Let's see here. Casey turns this into a 29. Casey turns this into nope. That's going to be a double in left field. And Ralph Kiner puts the Pirates on the board with an RBI double. It's 1-0 Pittsburgh. Now you got Ralph down at second. 2 outs for George Grantham. Grantham's batting .310 on the year. He's got a homer and 3 RBIs. And that's going to be against the righty. That's going to make him a 23. And that's going to be the final out. That's a ground ball down the third. And that'll end the inning. But Ralph Kiner's RBI double puts Pittsburgh on the board. Pittsburgh 1, Giants coming to the plate. You got Frankie Frisch Lindstrom and Terry due up here in the first. And Frankie Frisch is batting 200. No homers and 3 RBIs. Ray KREMER is second appearance of the year. He's 1-0 with a 4.5 ERA. Here's the pitch to Frisch. And that's going to be a ground ball down the pod trainer. He fires across the diamond for out number 1. You see Pittsburgh's upcoming schedule. They got one more game here in New York. Then they go home and take on them bums, the Dodgers. And then the Cubbies come to town. And Freddie's batting 244 on the year, 4 homers and 9 RBIs. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Grantham. And that'll be out number 2. 2 up and 2 down for Bill Terry now. And Terry's batting 250 on the year, 2 homers and 8 RBIs. And that's going to be another ground ball. This one again down the Grantham. And 1-2-3 goes the Giants. To the top of the second we go. It's a 1-0 Pittsburgh lead. And we have Pie Trainer Gus Sir and Johnny Gooch due up here. And Pie's batting 233. No homers and 1 RBI on the year. And that's going to be a ground ball down the second. And Freddie's going to bobble this ball. That's going to be an E4. And the leadoff batter's aboard here with an error. That brings up Gus Sir now. And Gus batting 174 on the year. No homers and 4 RBIs. And that's going to be a fly ball out to center field. Mays has got that for out number 1. And now Johnny Gooch is up. And Johnny's batting 267, no homers and 8 RBIs. And that's going to be a pop-up down the short. And Jackson makes the call, makes the catch for out number 2. Still down there at first on that error. And that'll bring up Ray KREMER. And Ray's 0 for 3 on the year. And that's going to be against the righty. That's going to make him a 30. And that was a 7. Yep. And that's going to be also popped up down the short. And again, Jackson makes the catch. That ends the inning, so the error doesn't cost him. We go to the bottom of the second. It's still 1-0 Pirates. We got Mays, Ott, and Youngs due up. Mays is batting 333, 7 homers, 15 RBIs. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Paul in center field for out number 1. Hits it to his counterpart. And Mel Ott is up now, batting 220, 3 homers, and 6 RBIs. And that's going to be a base hit in the right field. Mel Ott's aboard here with a 1-out single. And that brings up Youngs. And Youngs is batting 231, a homer and 2 RBIs. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. And Ray strikes out his first victim of the game. 2 down here in the bottom of the second. And Bresnahan's up now. And Bresnahan's batting 270, 2 homers and 4 RBIs. And that's going to be a pop up in foul territory. Johnny takes the mask off, makes the catch, and that ends the inning. The 1-out single goes nowhere. The Giants strand 1. To the top of the third we go. We got top of the order due up here. Hornis, Wagner, Warner, and Clark. Hornis Wagner grounded out the shortest first time up. And that's going to be a ground ball down the third for out number 1. Paul Warner's up now. And Paul, he doubled and came around to score his first time up. And that's going to be a base hit in the right field. Let's make sure here. Yep, that'll be a base hit in the right field. So Warner's having a good start to this game, 2 for 2. He's down at first now for Clark. And Clark is 0 for 1. He grounded out the short his first time up. Not this time, folks. He blasts this one. That ball is hit into right field. That's going to roll around out there. That's a deep gap out there. And he's headed for third, and he's in there with a triple. An RBI triple, and the Pirates are up 2-0. Double your fun, double your pleasure with double mint gum. It's 2-0 instead of 1-0. And Ralph's up now. He doubled in a run his first time up. Here's the pitch to Ralph, runner 90 feet away, and they're playing the infield back in a 53 and a 9, probably fielding column 2. 53 and a 9. Nope, that's still fielding column 1. And they'll get the runner out at first, batter out at first, but the run will score. And that's now 3-0 Pittsburgh. And that'll bring up George Grantham with nobody on and 2 outs. But 2 runs have come across the board here in this third. And Grantham grounded out the third his first time up. And that's going to be a base on balls. And Amos is struggling here in the third. That brings up Pie Trainer now. And Pie is 0 for 1. He reached on an error his first time up. And that's going to be popped up down the short. That'll end the inning. But the Pirates score 2, make it a 3-0 game as we go to the bottom of the third. We got Travis, Amos, and then back to the top of the order in Frisch. And Travis is batting .265 on the year, 1 homer and 5 RBI. And that's going to be it's the 18. That's going to be a nice play down at short by Wagner. Hornus Wagner makes a nice play over to Gus for out number 1. Here comes Amos Rusie up, and Amos is 0 for 4 on the year. And not anymore, folks. That's going to be an infield hit because we don't need no stinking DH. So Amos is aboard here with 1 out. And Frankie Frisch is up now with 1 down. Frisch grounded out to third his first time up. And that's going to be hit down the short. And that's going to be an error on a throwing error. And the runner's going to get down the third. And all of a sudden, Hornus Wagner airmails that one, folks. We got runners at first and third in a 3-run game. Pittsburgh will play back for the double play. We got Freddie Lindstrom up now. Freddie grounded out to second his first time up. Here's the pitch to Freddie. And that's going to be a fly ball out to center field. Amos doesn't have much speed out there. Fly ball in the center. First and third. That'll be a 48. 48. Minus a 31. Plus a 7. 24. He's going to tag up and try because you got Bill Terry up. Well, that would be 2 outs, though. He's going to tag up and try. It's a 46 or lower. Can Paul throw him out? He does. A double play ball here. A fly ball out the center, and a runner's thrown out trying to score, folks. And that'll end this inning. Nice play out there by Paul Warner. And it's still a 3-0 ball game. We go to the top of the 4th. Pittsburgh's defense let them down for a few plays, but Paul Warner bailed them out. We got the bottom part of the order due up here for the Pirates. Gus, Gooch, and KREMER. Here's the pitch to Gus, and that's going to be a fly ball out to Mays in center for out number 1. And here's Johnny. He's 0 for 1. He popped up the short. And not this time. That's going to be laced in the right field. Youngs gets over, cuts it off. holds Johnny to a single. Ray's going to try to bunt him down the second, get him in scoring position for Honus Wagner. Ray's 0 for 1. He popped up to short. And that's going to be a nice bunt down the third base. And Freddie's only play is going to be over to first with Frankie covering for out number 2. But we're back to the top of the order now, and Honus Wagner and an insurance runs down at second with 2 outs. Honus is grounded out to short and third. And Wagner with a righty, that'll be a 29 on a 8. That'll be a ground ball down the first. And he'll toss it over to Amos covering, and that'll end the inning. The Pirates strand 1 to the bottom of the 4th we go. We got Ralph Terry, who was getting ready to walk up to the plate when Warner threw out Amos at the plate. So you got Terry, Mays, and Ott due up here. And Terry grounded out the second his first time up. And that's going to be a base on balls. Now, what you want to see here when you got a 3-run lead, make them earn their way on. That brings up Willie Mays now with a runner down at first and 1 out. Mays flew out to his counterpart, Paul Warner, out in center his first time up. And that's going to be a tailor-made double play down to Grantham. He's got it. He fires over to second, over to first, 4-6-3 double play. Now there's 2 outs and nobody on for Mel Ott. And Ott is 1 for 1. He singled his first time up. And that's going to be a base on balls. So Ott walks down to first for the second time. And that'll bring up Young. And Young is 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up. And that's going to be against the 15. That's going to be a single in the right field. And Ott's going to stop at second. So now we got first and second and 2 outs for Bresnahan. You got to watch out. This lineup is deep for these Giants. Bresnahan is batting .263. He popped up to the catcher his first time up in foul territory. That's going to be 2 balls and no strikes on him. Here's the 2-0 count. And that's going to be a 18. And that's going to be a single in the left field. And Mel Ott will score easily on that. Let's see if Youngs can get down the third. Nope, he's going to stop at second. That's an RBI single by Bresnahan. And we still got first and second and 2 outs for Travis Jackson. Can Ray get out of this with only 1 run scoring? All this coming with 2 outs, folks. Travis is 0 for 1, grounded out to short. And he gets a hold of this, folks. Here comes the Giants. Like I say, this lineup is deep. And that's going to be belted into right field. Clark goes over his head. Travis is going to run for a route. Wow, folks. And that's going to be a 2 RBI triple. And that's going to tie this ball game up. Ray cruising through 3, gives up 3 runs so far. Now you got a runner down at third and still 2 outs. He can't get that all-important third out. Amos steps up to the plate, and Amos, because we don't need no stinking DH, he singled his first time out, got thrown out at home trying to score. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Grantham. That'll end the inning. But the Giants score 3, 2 of them on the Jackson triple, and tie this ball game up at 3 apiece. To the top of the 5th we go. So you can see the team comparison. Pittsburgh's 5-3. They've struck out 38 times, walked 33, hit 18 doubles, 15 triples. The Giants are 6-4. They've struck out 49 times, walked 38 times, hit 21 doubles and 5 triples. You got Warner, Clark, and Kiner due up here. Paul's a perfect 2 for 2. He's doubled, came around to score in the first, singled in the third. And that's going to be a fly ball out to right. And Ross has got it out there in right field for out number 1. Here comes Fred Clark up now. And Clark's 1 for 2 with an RBI triple, and he came around to score in the third. He grounded out to short in the first. And that's going to be a fly ball. This one out to center field, and Willie's got it. That's 2 fly balls, 2 outs. See if Ralph can do something here with 2 outs and nobody on. He had a 2 RBI double his first time up, and he grounded out to second and drove in a run. So here's the pitch to Ralph, and that's going to be a ground ball down to Jackson. That'll end the inning. 1, 2, 3 goes the Pirates. To the bottom of the 5th we go. And we got the top of the order due up here. Frisch, Lindstrom, and Terry. And Frankie is 0 for 2. He's grounded out the third. Did reach on an error his second time up. And that's going to be a 12. That's going to be a base hit in the left field. So Frankie's aboard here with the leadoff single. Not what you want to see. You don't want these leadoff guys getting on with the big bats coming up. Freddie is 0 for 2. He's grounded out the second. He flew out the center, and that's when Amos got thrown out at the plate. And that's going to be a 17 and a 10. And that's going to be a single in the center field. And with Frankie's speed, he's probably going to make it down the third. Yep, he's going to make it down the third with no throw. And Ray is in trouble here in the 5th after giving up 3 runs in the 4th. That gets the bullpen up in a hurry. And Frankie needs to get down the third. Forgot to do that. Frankie down the third. Wait a second. I'll go back. I got to go back twice. God darn it. So Frisch gets a single. And then Lindstrom's going to get a single. Sorry about this. In the center field, and the runner's going to get down the third. And now you got Terry up with first and third and nobody out. And the Pirates are going to bring the infield in. Terry's 0 for 1. He's grounded out the second and walked. And that's going to be a 17 and 8. And that's going to be another single, and this one in the right field. And that's probably going to get the runner down the third with Freddie's speed. And Ray is getting hammered here in this 3rd and 4th and 5th innings. So they're going to have to probably take him out now. It's a 62. Yep, he's going to get down the third with no throw. So again, we got first and third. Still nobody out for Willie Mays. And that's going to be it for Ray. So you can't get through this 5th inning. Let's see here. They got a lefty in the bullpen. And they do. Larry French is going to come out of the bullpen. Try to stop the bleeding here. for the Pirates. As Ray was cruising through 3 innings, and now he's gotten beat up by this lineup. So Larry French is coming out of the bullpen. You got Mays up now. Again, they're going to keep the infield in. Mays is 0 for 2. He's flown out the center and grounded into a 4-6-3 double play. And that's going to be a fly ball out to center field. See if Paul can keep the runner from scoring here. 48. He's already thrown one runner out today. I don't think he's going to throw him out. It's going to take a perfect throw to throw Freddie out. That'll be a, what was it? That'll be a 63. They cut it off. 63 or lower. Excuse me. And he's in there safely. So that's a sacrifice fly by Mays. And it is now a 2-run ball game. And finally getting out here. Now Mel Ott's up with a runner down at first. And 1 out. Ott's 1 for 1. He singled in the first, walked in the fourth. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. And a 61 on a 10 might still be fielding. Nope, that's fielding column 2. They'll get the batter out at first, but the runner will get in the scoring position here with 2 outs for Young. And Ross is 1 for 2. He struck out and singled and came around the score in the fourth. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Ralph in left field. That'll end the inning. But the Giants score 2 and take a 5-3 lead. We go to the top of the 6th. We got the Grantham, Trainer, and Surdu up here. And George is 0 for 1. Grounded out the third and walked in the third. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. Amos has got it. Fires over to Terry for out number 1. And Trainer's up now. And Trainer's 0 for 2. He's reached on an error in the second and struck out in the third. And that's going to be a base on balls. And the Pirates need a base runner to bring the tying run up to the plate. Gus Sir, tying run, comes to bat. He's 0 for 2. He's flown out the Mays twice. And that's going to be another fly ball out to Willie for out number 3. So I'm out number 2. That's the third time he's flown out the center. He gets the hat trick for that. So it's up to Johnny Gooch. Johnny singled in the fourth, popped up the short in the second. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. And Jackson will fire across the diamond and get him for out number 3. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's still 5-3 New York. You got the bottom part of the order due up here in the bottom part of the 6th. Bresnahan, Jackson, and Amos. And Bresnahan's 1 for 2. He's popped up to the catcher in the first and had an RBI single in the fourth and came around the score. And that's going to be against a 16. It's going to be a fly ball out to Paul in center field for out number 1. And Jackson's up now. Jackson's 1 for 2 with a 2 RBI triple in the fourth. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short for out number 2. And here comes Amos because we don't need no stinking DH. He's 1 for 2 today, folks. Here's the pitch to Amos. And that's going to be a fly ball out the left. Ralph's got it. And the Giants go down in order. To the top of the 7th we go. We'll have a pitch hitter here for French. And then to the top of the order, and Wagner and Warner. Let's see who's going to come off the bench here against Amos. And Archie Vaughn's going to come off the bench. See if Archie can start something here. Pirates need at least one base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. with one swing of the bat. And Arky Vaughn is batting .500 on the year. He's got 3 RBIs on the season. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Frankie at second for out number 1. 1 up and 1 down here in the 7th. Back to the top of the order we go, and Paul Warner. And Hornus Wagner, top of the order. He's 0 for 3, Hornus is. He's grounded out 3 times. Short first and third. And that's going to be against the 29. That's going to be another ground ball down the short. Travis has got it for out number 2. And up to the plate now is Paul Warner. And Warner's 2 for 3, having an excellent game. Doubled in the first, came around the score. Singled in the third, came around the score, and flew out the right in the 5th. And that's going to be a base hit in the right field. Paul Warner keeps up the nice performance. He's on base for the 3rd time today. And Fred Clark's up now. And Clark is 1 for 3 with an RBI triple. And he is grounded out and flown out his other 2 times up. And that's going to be against the 29. That's going to be a single. Clark beats out an infield hit here. So now all of a sudden with 2 outs, the Pirates are making some noise against AMOS. And that'll bring up Ralph Kiner, not who you want to see if you're the Giants. One swing of the bat and Ralph can give these Pirates a lead. He is 1 for 3. He has an RBI double in the first, grounded out and drove in a run in the 3rd, and grounded out in the 5th. Here's the pitch to Ralph. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. He's going to fire over to first. That'll end the inning. The Pirates strand 2. We go to the 7th inning stretch. It's 5-3 New York. See who's going to come out here and pitch here for the Pirates. Got the switchy, a righty, and a lefty. And I think the Deacon's going to come out here and pitch. Felipe is going to come out and pitch. And this is the Deacon's 3rd appearance. He has 1 save. He hasn't given up an earned run yet. He'll be facing the top of the order here in the 7th. Frisch, Lindstrom, and Terry. Frankie Frisch is 1 for 3. Grounded out, reached on an error, and singled in the 5th and came around the score. And that's going to be a base hit in the right field. Frankie's having a heck of a game. He's aboard here for the 2nd time, actually the 3rd time he reached on an error. So Frankie's down at first with nobody out for Freddie Lindstrom. Freddie's 1 for 3. He singled back in the 5th and drove in a run. He grounded out the 2nd in the 1st, and he flew out the center. And that's going to be against 14. And that's going to be another base hit in the right field. And let's see here, with nobody out, 39, I think he's going to stop at second. Yeah, he's going to stop at second with nobody out and a 2-run lead, especially with the big boys coming up first and second, and Deacon hasn't gotten an out yet, folks. Runners on first and second, Frisch and Lindstrom, and now Terry's at the plate. Terry's 1 for 2. He grounded out in the 1st. He walked in the 4th and had an RBI single in the 5th. And that's going to be a 14. That's going to be a third single in a row. This time, French will probably come around to score. That ball's hit in the left field. And Ralph does not have a very strong arm. I think Frankie's going to score with no throw. Yep. Let's see if we're going to try to get Freddie out at third. Freddie's going to try to advance, and he's going to stop at second. So that's going to be an RBI single, and still first and second, and nobody out. And the Giants are pounding on now. They doubled it to a 3-run lead. And Willie Mays is up. He's 0 for 2. He flew out the center in the second, grounded out into a double play in the fourth, and had a sacrifice fly in the fifth. Here's the pitch to Mays. Still nobody out. That's going to be a fly ball out to Warner in center field. He makes the catch. 56 on the 2. Might be fielding column 3. And it is. And he's still going to hold up, I believe. Yeah, he's going to hold up there at second with only 1 out for Mel Ott. Now there's 1 down and still first and second. And if the Pirates can get out of this mess with 1 run scoring, they'll be happy. Ott's 1 for 2. He singled in the second, flew out and walked in the fourth, and grounded out in the fifth. And that's going to be hit down the first. 43 and 04. And that's going to be the old 3-6-3 double play. Nice play down there by Gus. And a nice turn down there by Hornets. 3-6-3 double play gets the Pirates out of that mess with only 1 run scoring. We go to the top of the 8th, but the Giants add 1 and make it a 3-run game. We got Grantham, Trainer, and Surdu up here against Amos in the 8th. George is 0 for 2. He has grounded out twice and walked. And he gets a hold of this one, folks. That ball is high. That ball is far. That ball is gone, folks, down that right field line. Short porch down there, and he nailed it. And now it's a 2-run game. That run there in the 7th. Said Kipper giving up runs. Now Pie Trainer's up. He's 0 for 2. He's reached on an error. He struck out and walked. And that's going to be against the 27. That'll be a ground ball down to Frankie at second. And that'll be out number 1. And here comes Gus. And Gus is 0 for 3. He's flown out to Willie Mays all 3 times. He's got the hat trick for that. And this is going to be a rare play, a 62 on a 37. On a 37, that's going to be a 20. That's going to be hit out in front of the mound, out in front of the plate, rather. And that's going to be a nice play back there by Bresnahan. He's up with it, fires down the first for out number 2. And here's Johnny Gooch. And Gooch is at 1 for 3. He's popped up the short. He's singled. And he's grounded out the short. And that's going to be another ground ball down to Jackson. And that'll end the inning. But the homer by Grantham makes it a 6-4 game as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Deacon's due to lead off the top of the 9th. They'd like to see him get through this inning without giving up anything. He's got Young, Bresnahan, and Jackson due up. Ross is 1 for 3. He has struck out, singled, came around the score in the 4th, and flew out the left in the 5th. And that's going to be against a 12. That's going to be a single in the left field. So Ross is aboard here with a leadoff single. Bresnahan's up now. And no play back for the double play here. Bresnahan's 1 for 3. Popped up to the catcher in the 2nd. Had an RBI single in the 4th and flew out the center in the 6th. And he gets a hold of this one, folks. And Deacon's not going to be able to hold this lead to 2 runs because that's going to be a triple in the right field. Bresnahan drives that ball into the gap out there. And that's going to be an RBI triple. Still nobody out, and that's going to force the infield in here. That gets the bullpen up. Deacon's not going to make it, looks like, through this 8th inning. See, we got a runner down at 3rd and nobody out. And now it's back to a 3-run game, and Jackson's up. Jackson's 1 for 3 with a 2 RBI triple of his own. He's grounded out to short his other 2 times up. And against the 15, and that's going to be a single in the left field, and that'll score the run. And now you got a runner down at first, and Amos is coming up. He's going to try to bunt him over to second. You know what? With a 4-run lead, we're going to let Amos swing away. He's 1 for 3 today. He's singled back in the 3rd, grounded out, and flown out. So they take the bunt off. And that's going to be a 16. And we don't need no stinking DH, because that's going to be a single. And that's going to be it for the Deacon. He can't even get the pitcher out. So the Deacon doesn't make it through this 8th inning. See if we're going to do a double switch here. See if we're going to do a double switch here. So Grote's going to come in and play short. Warner's going to go over to first. Sir's going to come out of the game. And Friend's going to come in to pitch. So that's all the moving parts there. So let's do this now. So Deacon comes out. Grote's going to come in. So Friend's going to come in and bat in the 7th spot, where Gus was. Grote's going to come in and play short. Bat in the 9 spot. And Hornus is going to move over to first. Gotta love not having a DH, folks. Make some decisions here. So now, like I say, you got Wagner at first, Grote at short, Bob Friend on the mound, his 3rd appearance. No record and hasn't given up an earned run yet. And it's now a 4-run ball game. And nobody out in the top of the order up. Frisch, Lindstrom, and Terry. Runners on first and seconds, Jackson and Amos. Here's the pitch to Frankie. He's 2 for 4. He has 2 singles, reached on an error, and grounded out the 3rd. And he gets a hold of this, and the Pirates are imploding, folks. And that's going to be a double in the right center field. And Amos is going to stop at 3rd with nobody out. And now you got 2nd and 3rd, and the Pirates are going to play back. They just want to get an out here, folks. Just want to get an out. Freddie Lindstrom's up now. He's 2 for 4. He singled his last 2 times up. He grounded out the second and flew out the center. The other 2 times up, and that ball is high. That ball is far. Kiss it goodbye. Freddie Lindstrom hits it down the short porch and left field, and that's a 3-run homer, and it is now a 12-4 game as the Giants have just busted this game open here in the 8th. This lineup is tough, folks. It is tough. Held them in check for 3 innings is doing something, and after that they have came alive. Ralph Terry's up now. Still nobody out. He's 2 for 3. 2 RBIs on the day. He has singled twice, grounded out, and walked. And they're finally going to get it out. That's a ground ball down to Grantham. He's up with it, fires over to first. 1 down here in the 8th finally. And Willie Mays is up now. And Willie is 0 for 3. He does have a sacrifice fly. He's flown out the center twice, grounded out the second. And that's going to be against 14. And that's going to be a single down the short. Willie beats the throw. And now you got 1 on and 1 out for Mel Ott. 6 runs have already came across the plate. And Mel grounded into the old 3-6-3 double play his last time up. He singled in the second, walked in the 4th, and grounded out in the 5th. And that's going to be another double play. That ball is hit down to Grantham. He's got it. He throws over to Grote, over to Gus. Now it ain't Gus, it's Wagner over there now for the old 4-6-3 double play. That finally ends the inning, but 6 runs come across. It's a 12-4 game as we go to the top of the 9th. Amos trying to go the distance here. He's got Grote due up and then back to the top of the order and Wagner and Warner. And Grote just came in the game. He's 1 for 1 on the year. And that's going to be a pop-up down the short for out number 1. He pops up to his counterpart and back to the top of the order now. And Hornus Wagner, he's 0 for 4. He's grounded out all 4 times. Twice to short, once to third, once to first. And that's going to be against the righty at 29. That's going to be another ground ball down the short. And that'll be 2 down now. And it's up to Paul Warner to keep this game alive here. Paul is 3 for 4. He has doubled, singled twice, and flew out the right. And that's going to end the game. Jackson's up with it, takes his time thrown across to Terry. And that's a 1-2-3 9th. And the Giants win big 12-4. And don't forget, the Pirates had a 3-0 lead to start this game off with. It seems like a year ago. Let's take a look here at the box score. Oh, let's go back here. Take a look at what the star was. Pirates turned 4 double plays. Imagine if they didn't do that, folks, and lost 12-4. Turned 4 double plays and still lost 12-4. Giants 12 runs on 18 hits and 1 error. The Pirates 4 runs, 8 hits and 1 error. Paul Warner and Clark had excellent games. Warner 3 for 5. Clark 2 for 4. Pirates were 1 for 6 with runners on base. Grantham's 1 hit was that home run. Made it 3-0. Pirates left 7 men on base. Look at that. The only 2 batters that didn't have had multiple hits was Mays and Ott. Your 2 big boys is the only one. Even Amos had 2 hits because we don't need no stinking DH. The pitcher had 2 hits. Frankie Frisch and Lindstrom at the top of the order went 3 for 5. Giants were 7 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Lindstrom hit that homer, and they only left 5 men on base. Ray picks up his first loss of the year, only goes 4 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, walked 2, struck out 1. French comes in, pitches 2 good innings, and then the Deacon come in and got pounded. Pitched 1+ innings, 7 hits, 5 runs. And Friend comes in and throws gasoline on the fire also. 3 hits, 2 runs, gave up a homer. AMOS, he goes the distance, picks up his 3rd win. 9 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, struck out 1 and gave up a homer. And let's take a look now at the standings and the leaderboard here in the National League. And now the Giants are a half a game up on the Phillies. And the Pirates and Reds and Cubs and Braves are all tied for 3rd. The Dodgers are 3 games back. And the Cardinals are 4.5 games back. Chuck Klein's leading the National League with a .434 batting average. Mays with 7 home runs. Hank Aaron with 17 RBIs. And Clark Griffith with a 1.8 ERA is leading the league in ERA. And now you got 3 pitchers, Noodles, Kidd, and Amos with 3 wins. 3 pitchers tied with 3 saves. Hank Aaron's leading in the MVP voting. And Noodles is leading in the Best Pitcher Award. I want to thank you all for tuning in. The next game on the channel will be the 2nd and final game of this series on April 30th. Take a look at the pitching matchup here that we'll have. And it's going to be Soul against Christy Mathewson. Should be one hell of a game, folks. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for reminders so you know what's going on here, and hit that like button and leave a comment. Till next time, y'all have a great day and take care.